Okay, let's get this started. So, first of all, hi, I'm Mitha, and I've been playing a bunch of Satisfactory for a while, and one of the things that I keep wanting to do with a lot of my friends is actually show them the way I play. The problem is, I play heavily modded, and other people trying to get onto one of my saves doesn't really work very well. We've tried. It doesn't work. So, the point of this playthrough is going to be to show people how I do a playthrough. It's going to be about, I don't know, 300, 400 hours by the time we're all done, but it's hopefully enough to get us to 1.0, and then we'll see. Call me a Hawaiian delicacy because I be spamming. You know what, Kath? Go right ahead and spam. Your company is always welcome. Now, first things first. Can you hear the game okay? I want to try and get the audio levels right. I want to make sure you hear me okay and you hear the game okay. So I actually do like the music in this game, so let me know. Ah, you've loaded. Yes, yes. But I am not loaded myself. Let's set a realistic expectation here. Okay. So, I'm going to start a new playthrough. We're going to call this VT Stream 1. Assuming that it's like there's going to be a 2 stream that's like sometime after 1.0. Maybe I'll call that one 1.0. I don't know. Letha VT Stream Update 8? Why not? So, I can make this a friends only, but no one will ever be able to join it, so there's no point. Believe me, we've tried. Every time they just disconnect, unable to connect. So, new playthrough, starting in the North Forest. And if you notice in the corner, for eagle-eyed viewers, mod loader 3.7, that's the current one. Mods loaded 24. Here we go. Yeah, since you're on mobile, that's not too surprising, honestly. Okay. So already it added some inventory slots. There's like 8 inventory slots that it adds immediately right at the start. What's going on there is I've played this game through several times. I've done the whole hard drive hunt several times. Also, let me know the volume. Give me feedback about the volume. Do I need to make the game louder? Do I need to make the music go up, down, whatever? Tell me about the audio levels.
This is one of multiple edibles.
Oh, hush, Ada. I played the game through several times. I'm not super a fan of the whole hard drive hunt thing. Now, it's not that running around and doing collectathons is a bad thing. I think it's a perfectly fine thing for the game. The problem I hate about the hard drive collectathon is the random factor. I hate the RNG. The, oh, well, you might get something good, or you just might not. Come on. My mouse. Come on. There we go. I'm going to stick it there. Because that's where we put it when Cat did Cat's playthrough. Already, you can see a couple of things. There's a couple of things here in the tier 0, which is actually the tutorial tier, which is from Refined R&D. That's the stuff from the... Yes, that is you. We do a thing every Friday. You were a part of that. Anyway. We'll get to the green power stuff later. Let's get started with the basics. This part of the playthrough, you're not going to notice a whole lot of difference. Because honestly, tier 0, tier 1, not a lot of changes. It's pretty standard. The one major change you're probably going to see with this part of the game is going to be, hey, let's actually do something with flowers. You know, flowers, those useless things we don't do anything with because they're going to be removed from the game. Well, somebody in their brilliance went, yeah, but what if we did something with them? So, deconstructors? Oh, hello, Frank. Your name is going to be Frank, by the way. Frank the Factory Bean. Frank is here to approve our work. Do you approve? There we go. Much better. See? Frank loves this. Now, there are a few things we're going to run into in this play series. Is it base game or is it a mod? We're going to play this game on several occasions. What I'm doing right now is I'm just burning the flower petals for power for a few minutes to process sticks and leaves and turn them into biomass, and then we're going to start feeding everything from biomass. I can't really do much with the third constructor right now, though. Come to think of it, so... It's the cat's prerogative to change your mind, you know. Flowers are pretty. That's their use. Yes, but if I could make nice tapestries of flowers everywhere that are pretty, that would be a use that I don't have. Oh, I don't have any berries. I need some berries. Why do I tame the doggos? They just bring me nuclear waste. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just need cute doggies in my life? Maybe I had a pet that my parents took away from me when I was a child, and this is me, like, subconsciously making up for it? I don't know. That's a question for my therapist. Where did he go? I think he wandered off. That's fine, we'll run into him again. But just in case, more berries. Oh, hi. I'm on retaliate, so he's gonna hit me back as soon as I hit him. Or he'll run away. Seriously, bro, you could have hit me. It's on retaliate. Instead, you will be guts.
The remains of this creature might...
Hush, Ada. Everyone knows you're the real villain, Ada. So I'm going to do this playthrough from start to finish. I mean, I thought that's what the furry conventions... to be fair, it's like, right now there's only one furry convention I go to, and it's in January, so... Rug. There it is. Additional bioprocessing, it takes 100 flowers, so I may eventually have to start collecting flowers for that. But first things first. Give me biomass. Oh, okay. Have more wood. There. Get my flowers back. I was telling you about the hard drives mod. So, I've done the hard drives hunt several times. And I've just been like, nah, I want to skip it. Now, the thing is, the base game, the vanilla game, does have an advanced game mode where you can just do a whole bunch of things that are absolutely game-breaking, but, you know, they're locked off in what they call creative saves because they're not the intended play experience. I could do that. The only problem is this creates an inherent issue because the base game's like, hey, we're going to unlock all of the hard drives. Means you just have a ton of hard drives. You just find them. You run around collecting, you just find hard drives, and you don't need to do anything with them because you already got it all unlocked. So really, that's where the genius comes in. It's just like, somebody's just like, okay, unlock the hard drives, including the additional 8 inventory slots. Yeah. But we'll do something with the hard drives. We'll turn them into something you can use. So there's actually a little recipe that turns hard drives into 5 overclock slugs. Let's see. Sure, we'll start with that. Time for bin. Or a bin. Bin? Oh, there you go. There's another one. Small storage container. You wouldn't imagine this would be useful. What is it? It's a tiny bin. Not very big. It has 8 slots. Why the hell do I have this? You will see. First of all, for grass, we're not going to use this. For grass, we're going to use a regular full-size bin with its standard, like, 24 slots. Because grass take up a lot of space. But something for, like, wood, you don't pick up as much wood. Let's have a smaller bin. The mod for hard drives unlocks all of the alternate recipes. Because I've done that hunt before, and I hate the whole RNG part of the process. That is one thing I really can't stand about the base game's design. I hate RNG. I would actually be fine with it if instead, when you get a hard drive and you pop it into the MAM to read it, it just gave you a list. It's like, here are all the alternate recipes, pick what you want. I would even be fine with it if it, like, divvied it up in such a way that's like, okay, you can't get access to these, but you can get access to these. I'd be fine with that. Batteries. Here's the doggo. Here's the doggo. Hey, puppy. Hey, puppy. You're gonna immediately bring me nuclear waste and make me regret my decision, aren't you? Yes, yes you are. Aren't you, Senku? You're gonna immediately make me regret all of my choices. Oh well. Here we go! I need to get out of the habit of just running around, and a lot of times just running around collecting sticks and leaves. It's really easy for me to fall into that rut very early on. Alright. Boomph, boomph, boomph. Yeah, based on unlock tier, exactly. I would be fine with that. It's just the RNG that I hate. I fucking hate. I mean, it basically makes it feel like a loot box system. It's like, oh well, you might get something cool, or you might not. Absolutely drives me wild. And that's not to say that I hate Satisfactory. I love this game. But as I always say, if you love something, you should have the right to criticize it and want it to be better. I feel the same way about FF14. When the Dawn Trail riding in the last zone is a bit lazy, I'm gonna call it out. I can say that knowing that Way Too Late TV is here, because Way Too Late TV is done with that part now. So if there's anybody else here that is not done with Dawn Trail, speak now. Okay. Do you call yourself Sam on, like, all your YouTube videos? It's just an inborn habit. I try to protect people's real names when I know them, you know? Okay, cool. So what shall I make here? I'd say rod. It's rod time. I think maybe I just like petting the dog. Maybe that's all it is. Bring me nuclear waste, whatever. I just want to pet the dog. These guys are over here just making biomass. Hi, thank you. Hear you. Actually, I'm gonna wait on that for a second. This is me thinking better. So here's a fun fact for those that don't know. Is there a game worth playing that you can't pet the dog? I don't think so. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So these two biomass burners, these small ones on the hub, are only 20 megawatts each. The ones that you build are actually 30. They're bigger. So just file that away in your brain. There's a reason why I try to wean us off them very early on in the game. Doing it again. All right. See, this game is very much an ADD game. This game takes my ADD and plays. I will very much just run around and do the thing that my ADHD wants to do and not focus on things unless I want to. It's like I'm in the mood to focus. Biggie. Bacon. Bacon, 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 bacon. Bake it, bake it, bake it, bake it, bake it. How's the volume? Do you hear the game? Do you hear the music? Too loud? Too soft? Oh yeah, absolutely. This game has big piece of candy vibes. And there's just a whole lot of just run around. Ooh, shiny. Ooh, candy. Ooh, shiny. Ooh, candy. And honestly, I've actually found it very refreshing to have a game that takes that part of my ADD and rewards it. It's actually something that I've found is actually pretty good for my mental health, because it's like, oh, maybe I'm not fighting against my own autism. I'm actually letting myself regulate, you know? In that way, it's actually been pretty good. And yes, as a result, I think Satisfactory is just one of those games that's better for my mental health than something like, I don't know, World of Warcraft. Oh, God. That could be a whole rant in and of itself, believe me. Okay, music is good, voice is good, game volume is good, everything is nominal. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Didn't I just stab you? I get the aggro message, and then he de-aggroes. Sometimes I wonder about retaliate. Like, I'm expecting him to turn around and start hitting me, but then he doesn't. Ah, finally ran out of cable. Okay. The cat was mentioning on Friday, it's like, very early on in the game, you have to do at least a little bit of crafting on the craft bench. And in the early game, yeah, that's absolutely true. I'm out of wire. Okay. The very early part of the game is just like that. A number of these mods do a number of things to make themselves balanced, or at least more balanced. Modular load balancers, for example, only unlock after you've reached like steel and motors, because the primary parts for it are modular frames and motors. Now, is that an effective way to balance it? I don't know. I'm not an expert on game balance. But honestly, I think it does somewhat balance it out, because you're not sitting here making perfectly optimal factories in tier 1. That would be silly. That would be really silly. Refined power is another good example of this. In fact, I would actually say that refined power is kind of a king of this. Refined power started off as one of those mods that was just OP as shit. And a lot of people just sort of signed it off. It's like, okay, this is just a free power mod, whatever. But then over time, they started to balance it. And just about every single type of green energy that the refined power mod uses is balanced in some way. I'll try and go into more detail as we go along, but for example, I did wire. Windmills, for example. We're going to have windmills right here in tier 1. Their limitations are you have to space them out, or they're not going to be as effective, and they're affected by elevation. The higher up the windmill is, the more effective it is. So if you start in grassy fields and you're very low in elevation, they're kind of garbo. But also you get the first one at tier 1, so they're not intended to be super nice. Now, it does have like 3 levels, of the windmill. You get a better one later and then a better one later, but really, even the third tier, we're not talking like Don Quixote windmills. Well, I mean, they're real windmills. Did I make a line for plate yet? Remind me. Oh, right, that's what I needed the cable for. That's why I stopped working on it. Okay. Yeah, wind turbines. Even the third tier of wind turbines aren't that great. Even if you put them up really high, they don't produce that much power. There we go. Make me some iron plates, please. I'm running low. The game even has geothermal power in the base game. It's way down the Caterium tree. And one of the things that they've actually talked about on the dev streams is the geothermal power is not useful, like, at all. And it was part of the base game. There were a couple of reasons why this is. First of all, you don't get it until, well, it's locked behind supercomputers, which puts it, like, locked behind tier 7 and tier 8. If you finagle it a bit, you can get it a little earlier, but not comfortably. One of the things that they've actually talked about in the dev streams is they're going to try and get those out from behind supercomputers to make them a little bit more accessible, and they've put, like, another problem was geothermal geysers that you can put them on are really rare. Really rare. There's like a very small number in the game. And they don't produce a lot of power. So even though they have this piece of green tech in the base game, it's basically useless. So they're gonna make it a little lower in the tiers tree so you can get access to it much earlier. And then something else that they've talked about is they're going to add just a ton more wind turbines. I need rippers. So that's going to make that a little more useful, but it still doesn't address some of the other issues. More geyser locations, good. Getting access to it earlier, good. But the power it produces is not great. And one of the big reasons why everybody kept saying it was useless is by the time you get at it, like tier 7, your power needs are just way more than it provides. So it actually made a lot of sense to me when somebody came out with a mod that was basically just, hey, we have a scaling up of the geothermal generator. So that it's like there's a Mark II, it produces more than the Mark I, etc., etc. That makes sense to me. Go into bin. Refined power does something very similar. Oh, the other thing that the hydrothermal generator does is that the power fluctuates. It goes up and down. It's not consistent. Wind turbines are the same way. Wind turbines go up and down. I need rippers. What do I need? I need screws. Okay. I need iron rods for screws. I have a machine for that. Good. The sun laser. Yeah. Okay, I probably showed you the screenshots of that. Yeah, that's in refined power. Essentially, the way the story goes on that one is there is this series of, it's sort of a Dyson swarm that has been set up, but it's like falling apart and they need you to launch repair kits. So you manufacture repair kits and there's a launcher to launch them. And then you build the receiving unit that receives the beam of power from the satellites around the sun, and the Akichis's star, and the giant laser is the receiving unit. You have to pump large amounts of water into it. The water is essentially the conductor that is transferring the light energy into steam energy, and then you build these huge steam generators that turns it into power. Actually works very well from a science perspective. The Icarus project was kind of bad in its old iteration. Again, they've been really working on it, and I like this version. So yeah, giant space laser. It's not firing out, it's receiving. It's a receiver. It's receiving concentrated focused starlight from, the local star. And so that is actually part of refined power. And I'm out of plates. Okay. Yay, early game. There are several things towards endgame that it's like, I wouldn't say that they're intended to be that balanced, or that they are balanced just simply by being very complicated. The receiving unit for the Icarus laser is very complicated. I actually wrote a spreadsheet that very specifically lays out, you need 16 of this and 8 of this, to, properly build it. And even then, I wouldn't call it a full, base power replacement. It just gives you a lot of things to help. Cat and bows, well, all I know is there's a switch involved. So what, you're telling me it's a power bottom? Yes, essentially. One of the original things that Refined Power did was a big, arc reactor, and it looked way too much like the one in the Marvel movie, so that's one of the reasons why they did away with it, and they changed it. So now it is the modular reactor, the modular fusion reactor. We will build one, however, it is going to be the last thing I do in this playthrough, because for me, on an emotional level, I feel like the playthrough is done when I build what I call the giant cake. Essentially what it is a single foundation with 5 circular layers that you stack on top of each other, and so it's like 5 reactors stacked on top of each other. But we're not going to get there for quite a while. Another thing that they do good in terms of balance is there's a hydroelectric unit. So it's like if you find fast running water or a waterfall, you can slap down a hydroelectric unit. And, fan turn, make motor spin, make power. Very simple. Oh, innovative mall. Thank you for following. Welcome aboard. The balancing factor going on with the hydroelectric unit. One moment. I need a mod. Oh, Lord. I can't mod. Oh, okay. Hang on. I have to figure out how to do that. Lordy, 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 I should have thought of that. Got it. Done. Can you ban that fucker? Thank you. I thought we had everything set so that we wouldn't get those, but apparently not. Oh, that's a cool emoji cat. Where'd that come from? Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. No, seriously, cat, what is this? Sir Sword. Secure your account to get the... Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So here's a fun little fact. Random Twitch promotion. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. No, it came from like putting a secure key on your account. Two-factor authentication. It says it if you hover over it, which is what I did. So, and there goes the power grid. I knew that was coming. Okay, so why do I do this milestone first? Any takers? I mean, yes, it's logistics. It's like, you know, splitters and mergers, and those are useful, but there's also a bunch of other really useful starting milestones we could do first. Why do I do this one? Also, low-key mad it's not Seer, but I'm just a sapphic who likes when Lady Knights are included. I don't know where this came from, but I like the energy. I mad like this energy. Hello there. Ah! That's twice now. Tier 1. First doggo. At least on Cat's playthrough, gave me a few different things before bringing me the nuclear waste. Tier freaking 1. Nuclear waste. I keep hearing stories. You know, Lizard Doggo brings you purple slugs. I just get nuclear waste, apparently. Was I Hitler in a past life? Like, what the hell did I do to deserve this? All right. Answer to the riddle. Why do I do the logistics milestone first? I do the logistics milestone first because those 3 parts that you need for it, plates, rods, and wire, are the exact same parts that you need to make biomass burners. So, in the process of fulfilling the first milestone, you've also unlocked the parts that you need to make power. Very early on in the game. All right, you boys have failed me. I'm taking your biomass away. Need more cable. All right, let's get power running first. You and you, go. Now, why did that work? These are both making 30. The ones on the hub make 20. So I've increased the power output by, 50%. I need more wire. This is not going to be a super like exciting episode. I'm not going to be doing like super creative things, and this factory will get torn down. And I think Cat, especially, one of the things you're going to notice is a bunch of the things that I did in this playthrough, I'm going to try and do them in yours, but I'm also going to be like, if you want to shoot me down for whatever reason, you can do that on your save. That is your save. Sanku, I am very disappointed in you. Like, how do you even get nuclear waste this early? More wire. Put in creative works as well. What is creative works? Did a really good dig. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. This has just been one of those weeks where you just can't catch a break, Ah, yes, very good. I'm probably going to grab it later and like dump it into DaVinci and do something with it. And now I've forgotten what I came over here for. I'm a professional, remember? Okay, more power than we need for the moment. I've got the desktop PC back, so I should get to editing again. Yes, we need to do more, my brain just lost the words. Battletech. More Battletech EX. I don't know. I'd be mostly impressed if my dog brought me nuclear waste. Well, to be fair, that was the last time this happened, it was your playthrough when the dog brought you nuclear waste. It's just, you weren't the one that opened the inventory when that happened. That was another moment that's worth clipping, by the way. Thank you, why have you betrayed me? Yeah, bite-sized Battletech. Thank you. I'm bad at names. You know this. Okay. I don't know why I went to the console and looked at that. It's in the upper right-hand corner. By the way, how's the layout? I adjusted it so that more of the game screen is visible. And, like, you can see that my hands are centered in the frame now. On the Friday stream, my hands were not centered in the frame. That was just something that bugged me. Oh, I was talking about hydroelectric power. Balance of hydroelectric. Hydroelectric balances because not all of the water nodes deliver the same effectiveness. I loved this. When Silver brought this to me, and after, I commissioned him to make a series of overlays, and he showed me this, I just loved it. I'm just like, I have no notes. This is great. This fits with the theme so well. Now, mind you, like, Silver was an intermediary when I was getting this model made. So it's like Silver was present for most of my notes in originally talking to Indie Dairy to get this model made. So Silver understood a lot of my preferences, my thoughts. Silver had that in mind going into the making of the layouts and just kept going on the theme. Silver's very good at what Silver does. And if you're watching, Silver, yes, we are complimenting you. So, one of the things about Satisfactory is that it's not a game that sits there and nickels and dimes you in an economy of money or items. It is a game that nickels and dimes you on the economy of time. Your time, the player's time. Everything that is constructed in a period of time, X units per minute. It's all about, are you going to make this game be efficient in time or in materials? You get to make that decision. Here's a riddle. How do you define efficiency? Because the game's all about, oh, be efficient, be efficient, be efficient. That's the whole mantra, right? What does efficiency mean? What does that mean? Okay. So, Sam's definition equates time with resources. Getting more things from less resources. Okay. Yes, exactly, Cap. I would like to suggest there's another answer to that question. Efficiency is also how many things can you make per unit time? A lot of the game's economy is based on time. Everything is made, 10 things in, 5 things out, 60 things per minute. Things made per unit time. So efficiency can also mean whether something is efficient in how quickly you can make them. That is especially important if you're thinking in terms of, hey, I'm trying to produce, let's just say, I don't know, let's just talk about wire. We're trying to make wire. And I have a recipe where I need wire produced to go into the recipe, and I need it made at a certain rate. I only have so much time. God, I love wire. It was just, something I'm using as a random example, but it still works. It's like, I need 60 wire per minute for the making of whatever this thing is, hypothetically. So units per time is something that is important. Now, maybe I have way more of the resource than I need. And in that case, is it still efficient to make it enough of them per unit time, even if you're using a bit more resources than normal to get enough per unit time? It's okay if you now feel like you have a headache. That's fine. That's normal, and I'm probably going to get more into that as we go along. Because I've actually, as long as I've been playing this game, I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, what is efficiency? Material efficiency is one factor, but I would argue so is time. the player's time. Like, why is it a bad idea to sit there and make things on the workbench so much, Kat? Because you're lessening your enjoyment of the game by introducing tedium, wasting your time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would actually say it's like one of the game's core mechanics is that it balances your desire towards playing the game versus your time. And they have structured the game in such a way that it encourages progression. You could do things slowly and just sit there and beat on things on the workbench, like Kat likes to do. But eventually, when you have to make a stack of 1,000 of something, it's a lot more efficient to just make a production line that makes them faster than however fast you can sit there and beat on the workbench. Yeah, you can't do anything else but hold the button. It's boring. It's really boring. On purpose, I would argue. Like, it was designed that way. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And beating on it on the workbench will make you what? Maybe 30 a minute? Yes, there are some times when it is absolutely easier to just beat on something on the workbench and pound it out when you only need 10 or 15. But when you need 300, we need 1,000. We need 5,000. And yes, there will be some of that.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can map the productivity display.
There's something else. Ada bugs me. I find her voice annoying. But also that's a by design thing. Like, they do that on purpose. They make her annoying because, you know, sort of based on, you know, obviously the computer is the villain. I just sometimes like to complete a goal and not think about how to build the production line. Yeah, but what happens when you then need to make 500 of that? Or 1,000? Hello, Nova the Red Witch. Welcome in. We're talking about Satisfactory and production lines and efficiency. I am starting a new playthrough. This playthrough is going to be heavily modded. We're going to talk about mods. The computer is capitalism.
Milestone exchange concluded. Fix-
That said, if you see me do something and you look at it and you go, wait, what the heck is that? Feel free to ask questions. I love questions. I freaking love questions. All right. We need concrete now. So, burp, burp. Time for concrete. Something else that I also want to go into is sort of what my build style is, which is the sort of, I call it the solar punk aesthetic. A lot of the Satisfactory community is really into brutalism. And that's cool for them. I'm not really into it. I much prefer things that are bright, well lit, and preferably with like lots of natural light. And usually this involves a lot of put down a cement pad and then cover it in glass. I want to see the trees outside. I want to see the grass outside. I want there to be a sort of pleasant environment. I didn't line that up great. Oh well. I can't overclock yet, and so I can't underclock yet. Oh well. Wait, what? I didn't look at that. Oh, cable. Do I have mergers and splitters yet? Yes, but I don't have foundations yet. That's what I'm working on. There's also a certain amount of like me not wanting to force my style of playing the game on somebody else. I think other people should be free to play a game however they want and have fun with it and like not yuck their yum. But you also have, it's like if I'm there giving advice, I'll still give my advice. But it's like if something makes you happy, then I'm gonna be like, okay, sure game. I forgot to set the recipe on that, you know? You notice that? So yeah, this first episode is just going to be a lot of the standard stuff. It's when we get into actual factory building that's going to get interesting. Nova the Red Witch, I'm doing fine, just relaxing after watching a Wes Anderson film. A slight headache from the thinking took a toll on me. Understandable. Honestly, very understandable. Though I'm sort of curious, which Wes Anderson movie? I need 100 of these, which I've already more than got. Ah! I don't think I've seen that one. So a little about me. I play a number of games. Right now, Satisfactory is sort of my hyperfixation. It's a very chill, relaxation kind of game. But it also requires a lot of thinking. I do play some other games, and it's sort of one of the things where I'm going to go and do them as my hyperfixation takes me. Yay, autism. And my playstyles probably reflect that a fair amount. One of the things I said very early on in the stream was I kind of wanted to show a bunch of, you know, my friends, like, this is the way I play the game. That was always sort of one of the major motivations behind doing this playthrough. While Satisfactory supports multiplayer, not well enough. Not well enough for any of my friends to be able to jump into any of the games that I have made. The heavily modded ones. It's an adaptation of Roald Dahl's story. I see. I've never been a big fan of Netflix. While I know they've done some good stuff, they've also done some really shitty stuff. You know what? I'm just gonna make another portal miner and go and make another concrete line, because why the heck not? It's a mixed bag. Yeah, I very much agree with that. It's a mixed bag. Why did I do that? Come on, settle down. There you go. I have a very sensitive mouse, but sometimes, oh man. Ah, the pain of Mark 1 belt speeds. That moment when you can see I'm thinking about something. I wonder where the lizard dog went. Riveting gameplay. Thank you. Come on. There we go. Very sensitive mouse, but oh man. There we go. Every time I try to move the mouse wheel, it bumps the whole thing. And keep it. If you like it, you should have put a bin on it. I blame you for that, cat. I'm gonna be thinking of that song every time now. You started that, cat. Come on, that's not lining up quite right. Nudge mode. Why are we clipping? Nudge mode. Come on, there we go. Check the rest of these bad boys. So something else that I keep using the word modular, refined power does is there is actually a biomass burner with an input. But the thing they do to balance that is that it uses higher materials. So you're still stuck using these base models for a while because they use simpler materials. The refined power one with the input slot uses second tier materials, and we are still in tier 1. So there's going to be this period of time where you're just stuck using these guys. Now eventually, when 1.0 drops, the official game is going to have the biomass burners with an input slot. And I suppose at that point, that version of the refined power mod won't be needed anymore. I don't know what they'll do with it. You know. Usually I talk about my particular special interests, especially about this mental fiction universe I created via immersive daydreaming and improv I call the Mindscape, but so far, I've lost the drive to explain it. Well, the first thing I always suggest to people is write it down. When you have the mental spoons, write it down. That's where writing starts. It's where being an author starts. If you can get it down to paper, digital or not, that's how you start writing novels. That's how you start getting published. That's how you start doing things like, hey, I'm just going to be an author now. Making that jump sometimes is hard. But when you're someone that's really good at putting words to paper, sometimes you don't always have the ideas. That's why authors have spells where they can't think of anything. Almost there. 8 more. I really wanted to get this part of the game out of the way because, in my opinion, this part of the game is so slow. I need to take off, get some medical stuff. Okay. Take care yourself. I will see you later tonight.
Milestone reached. You have unlocked several.
Okay. Let's actually build something more interesting now. I'm going to start with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Okay. Gonna need cable, gonna need ribs. Yes, self-care. Exactly. We are very big on the self-care here. In this house, we tell people to take care of themselves. Oh, I should make a screw line. Before I do that, I should make a screw line. Okay. One thing at a time. Oomph, oomph, oomph. I need screws. Which means I need a constructor. Cable liner. There we go. More like events in there kind of come and go in the mindscape. It's an unpredictable and surprisingly complex network that the only way I can do is to simply have a physical expression. Tape recorder? Or maybe something like smartphone apps, the 2 voice recorder? I know several writers who can say stuff out loud first into some kind of recording device and then commit it to paper later. The idea is to make it so that you don't have to explain it 50,000 times to everybody that comes along. You say it once, and then you don't need to do it again. I did a lousy job of lining that up, yes. I'm gonna tear it up in 15 minutes anyway. Everything is skew with. Everything's all over the place. I'm gonna tear it up in 15 minutes. I don't care. Something that I used to do in terms of creativity when I was a kid is I used to do whole pretend worlds, and we would actually do a lot of, in-character role-playing between us in those worlds. The difference is we were sharing it with each other and we could both write it down. Too self-conscious to record myself, and dysphoria is part of it. Ah, this I understand. Particularly the dysphoria part. I hate hearing my own voice. I very much get the dysphoria part. Okay, I'm gonna need 300 screws from you. Why did I do that? Not thinking. Oh. There's the problem. Unfortunately, I didn't have friends when I was young to do imaginative play, so I created a companion to remedy this. Now this is special interest too, talking about this companion. I see. I hope you understand if I'm not, like, trying to give you advice on that, because I sort of feel like I don't really have any good advice to give there. Too short. Now let's actually do something proper here. Doesn't need to be perfect. Did I just... Yes, I did. Okay. See, this companion has more autonomy than an imaginary friend. They also have separate opinions, such that normally a character wouldn't do outside of a story. Okay. Is this like a dissociative identity thing? come on. Stop bouncing around. There we go. Let's just nudge it. There we go. Oh, every time I touch the mouse wheel, it bounces. Trying to build around trees. Okay, that's gonna bug me. Hold on a second. There we go. Doesn't line up quite right. I don't like it. Nope, don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Floor too steep. Yeah, no kidding. Not really. Nothing traumatic led to the creation of this mental companion, besides it was intentionally created. I see. I don't think all dissociative identity issues come entirely from trauma, or at least they don't have to. That said, I'm not a psychiatrist or a therapist, and I don't have any authority there. Don't take this as any kind of authority. It's not something I have any experience in. But that said, it's like, in terms of hyperfixations, that I do get. I very much get that. There. It's not perfect, but it works. I don't know why I'm spending so much effort on something that is eventually going to get torn down anyway, but I'm trying not to make a mess, if that makes any sense. Nudge mode. There we go. You bug me, tree. One downside with this start location is that tree being right there. in the way of the copper node. That reminds me. All right. Let's see if I've got enough. I might not. No, still need the screws. What I have would be a tool pump. Doesn't cause much trouble, more so they have more help with my overall well-being. Well, that's good. There we go.
The map has been unlocked.
Okay.
Milestone reached. The molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, will allow R&D to provide new technologies, items, and buildings based on samples collected in the field.
Oh, and
To ensure
there
a
it
greater
goes.
chance of success during exploration,
I may have
an
made those
upgraded
too
tool belt
close.
has been provided, as well as an object scanner and beacons. Note: the object scanner requires calibration via the MAM to enable detection of specific objects.
Put it on the other side, then. Where there's lots of room. Oh. There we go. Come on. What have we picked up so far? I haven't found anything else yet, have we? Ah, Infinite Zoop. Infinite Zoop has the same function as the base game Zoop, except Infinite Zoop expands over the course of the game with MAM upgrades requiring higher tier materials. It expands its functionality. for example. Come on. I don't know why it always aligns like that on the first try. There we go. There you go. I could cover this entire valley in foundations in a single click if I wanted to. Not right now. That comes later. Right. I need to make 3 of these. There we go. I do miss not having the jetpack. Oh well. That comes later. Can I get that this from the other side? Nudge mode. Yes, I can. What I'm trying to do here is to actually place the constructors in a neat little row, but the tree is getting in the way. That's the downside of Infinite Zoo. Sometimes you build way more than you plan. Well, that looks ridiculous. Taking that out. Better. Go on. There we go. Hey, Milk! How's it going? I'm, doing the heavily modded playthrough. Or at least starting to. The idea was I would get a small start going because Tier 1, Tier 2, not that interesting. How far did you get last night? Okay, Nova, have a good lurk. A good lurk is always allowed. Wire. Go. Oh, that's right. You weren't streaming Satisfactory last night, were you? I was not able to be around last night's stream because we were streaming tabletop RPGs last night. I'm sitting here thinking, what's wrong? Then I realized, oh wait, there's no power. I haven't built any power yet. Silly me. Darn tree. I'm gonna cut you down the first moment I can, tree. You'll be amused, Malk. Oh, thank you. I love this girl. Her artist did a really good job. Her rigger did a really good job. And I've tried to put all of their contact information down in the description if anybody's curious. She is adorable. Okay, here we go, here we go. So, we've got a line making wire and a line that's gonna make cable. So I finally have some cable production. Yay. So this is just the starter factory phase. Just started. Things get more interesting when I start building full-fledged factories. Yeah, Malk, it was sounding like you were starting to get a little bit of burnout going on with Satisfactory. Which is normal. Especially right before 1.0 drops. You gonna do a new save when 1.0 drops, Malk? Sounds good. Gonna start in that same location out in Grassy Fields? And what are the other games you were interested in playing? I'm hoping I have 500 screws made. I'm going after you next, tree. That's a threat. I thought about moving, but seems the map modifications I'm better staying where I am. That does kind of make sense. That is still a really nice location because it's right there by the water and you could just start building over the water. Hi, cat. We have a milk. Yeah, don't go mad with power all at once. I hope you did some self-care, cat. So while you were AFK, I talked a little bit more about like mods and game balance. Got groceries, which I've been needing to do for like a week. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. My thing is, I've had a bum leg for a week, so that's been making it kind of hard. The fun thing is, when you're, you know, disabled even temporarily, it's like doing the simple things becomes really, really difficult. I was gonna grab some cable, but yay, I have enough screws. And then I'm gonna kill a tree. One of my general goals in a lot of my playthroughs is to try to avoid cutting down as many trees as I can, because I like the trees. I like them to stay there. I'm big on the whole green energy thing. I would like the trees to keep being trees. So I'm always really super snickety and picky and choosy about, like, which trees I will cut down and which ones I won't.
Milestone reached. Biofuel will ensure maximum efficiency of biomass burners. To aid in biofuel production, you are now capable of removing foliage that consists primarily of wood. Additionally, R&D inflated your pocket dimension.
That's actually interesting. I've never seen you change. I mean, I do avoid it where I possibly can. But there's a few places, like, where I have to chop something down. Like, have to. Like, that tree over there. It's gonna bug me until I chop it down. Because it's right in the way. But yeah, I get building right over the water. Building over the water has the advantage of you don't have to clear anything, it's already cleared. Also, easy access to water. Space! Space, the final frontier. Oh yes. There's always someone that you can point to and say that they're more disabled than you are. But that also, like, is a way for you to sit there and, like, not acknowledge your own, like, where you're at physically and or mentally. I'm looking at you, tree. Equipment chainsaw. I need some cable. Okay. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself, Mal. Just because somebody else is more disabled than you are doesn't disqualify your own disability and, like, the fact that you also have needs. So. And this channel is absolutely going to have the no self-deprecation rule. In fact, I might write it into the actual rules below the stream. No self-deprecation. You're gonna make me wait 10 seconds, aren't you? Okay. One ripper short. Cat, since you're here... Nuts. I'm short on plates. I was gonna start showing you windmills. Which you might say is tilting at windmills. But And hey, I did ask for extra days at work. I'm trying to take better care of myself, but it's so much easier not to. Yeah, that's a very autistic thing, and I get that. It's very easy to just not take care of yourself. Like, do you know how many times this week with the bum leg I've been like, oh, it's just so much easier to not take a shower because taking a shower is actually painful?
Milestone reached. The Refined Power R&D division have developed a new power generation method. This building can generate up to 30 megawatts of power based on its altitude. Note, if a wind generation device is within the vicinity of another building of the same type, performance will not be optimal. Stay efficient.
Not quite the same Ada voice, but it's close enough to be indistinguishable. Which is, honestly... I'm still not sure how they do that. That's refined power. There's refined power, wind turbine. Now, Refined Power is one of the most popular mods around. You will find Refined Power integrated into a lot of other big mod packs. Here you go. Yep, probably. Or applied in the same way. So, one of the things that comes with Refined Power is a new UI system. Look at this. This is pretty. You've got all of these like little modules and things going on. They call it modular UI. When you install Refined Power, it just sort of comes with it. And a bunch of other mods use the modular UI system. However, the one thing this doesn't show you is the current state of the power grid. Fun fact, you can daisy chain through these. These have two connections. You can do that. Now, wind turbines, of course, you can't put too many of the same type close together. Ada said that. Also, they're based on altitude. There's its elevation data right there. And as you can see, at the current elevation, this wind turbine is only 33% efficient. It actually says that right there. It's only producing 8 megawatts. And roughly, it's going up and down. 69% efficient. Wind speed, 33%. That's how they balanced wind power. There's actually something you can disable that in the options, but honestly, I leave the fluctuating nature of the wind on because I feel like it's balancing. It's balance. This is game balance, you know? For something that will generate power infinitely, even though it's a very small amount, you know, it's only like 8 megawatts or whatever it is at the current time, it's balanced by the fact that it is not fully optimal all the time. I can and will put them all over this valley. But it's never gonna 100% drive this place because they go up and down. Periodically, the biomass burners will kick in because the windmills are not gonna cover it the whole time. You have to actually have a mixed power solution, which is honestly kind of realistic. It's the same thing with solar panels, which, yes, are also part of the Refined Power mod. I miss the quartz boots. I have to go out from the other side. There are solar panels, but once again, they have limitations. The early ones don't generate very much power. They take a whole production line just to build them and some very specific parts just to build them. And even the single greatest version is still hindered by the fact that sometimes the sun goes away. You know, like real solar panels. They don't generate power when it's dark. The most advanced version will generate a tiny amount while the sun is down. Because, of course, it's never fully dark on Yakuza, for whatever reason. Mostly probably because it's a binary system. Maybe you should self-care, Cat. I'm looking at you, Cat. Yes! Actually, there are. Although, okay. Hyperfixation rant coming, incoming. Okay, so, right around the Steel era, like right when in the same milestone unlock, when you get the power towers, like you just did in your save, you also get a power bank battery, which you can build tons of them and they daisy chain, and you can have like lots of them to store excess power for like when, you know, the sun goes down or the biomass burners shut down or whatever happens. You're not producing enough power, there's a backup power system. But the thing that bugs me is they shape them like batteries, and I'm sorry, but batteries don't work like that. These things are capacitors. They are designed to rapidly discharge large amounts of power and charge slowly, as opposed to batteries, which discharge slowly. They're not batteries, they're capacitors. This is one of those things. This is something that only bothers me. Problem that only bothers me. Yeah, that makes sense.
This semi-slug seems to emit unfamiliar energy readings which could potentially be retrofitted into fix-it technology. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
Yeah, focus on getting home safely. But yeah. The next time we do your playthrough, Kat, remind me, and we will put up some batteries. Now, here's a quiz question for you, Kat. What do biomass burners do that other power generation methods don't? Kick. Right. That deep sigh is for you, Kat.
A message from the refined R&D branch of Fixit. We would not be as motivated as much as we are without you, and cannot give back as much as we would ever want. This is our way of saying, thank you, to you all of you that support our work while working on Fixit farming. We love you guys to death, even just using the mod means a lot to us. Thank you, so much. Regards refined R&D. Now go back to work.
All right. Time to make some nuggies. Come on. There we go. I'm somewhat annoyed. I need to put this up on foundations, but I need the biofuel nuggies. I'll clean this up in a minute. Watch, a minute turns out to be next play session. So currently the plan is I'm going to spend more time on Tuesday really focusing on this. That's the plan. And it's going to be an every week thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep going with Saturdays. That's going to be a largely play it by ear thing, but now that I actually have my stream working, I need to do it more. Wait, did I? You! I can't hurt you, you're too cute. Very first thing the doggo brings me, nuclear waste, of course. The things I do for love from puppies. Do I have 20 nuggies now? Yes, I have 40.
Milestone reached. Fixit R&D have developed an automated biomass burner after learning of inefficiencies in power production. You can now automate production with an added conveyor input hole.
Yeah. The automated biomass burner. This is part of the refined power suite. It's exactly the same as the basic biomass burner, except for the input hole. And look at the requirements. 8 rips and 6 rotors. Now that's in comparison to the base game version, which is 15 plate, 15 rod, and 25 wire. 3 tier 1 materials as opposed to 2 tier 2 materials. That's a balance thing. So it's like you have to survive for a little while on the base version, build up your base before you can build the second version. Balance. Things they do for balance. Now, is that the best balance technique? I'm not a game designer. But it's definitely an attempt. Refined Power does a very good job of this. Now, come 1.0, the base game is going to have biomass burners with an input slot. So all of this is going to be irrelevant. And I'm just sort of assuming that they're going to have the same build materials as the base version, the tier 1 materials. So this is going to become irrelevant on September 10th. You back? Thank you. Expanded inventory mod. Look at that. So, 500 inventory slots. However, one of the things they do to balance it is it's broken up over the course of play. There's a different version each tier. Well, every phase, I should say. The first one is 20 fuel logs, which actually takes you a bit to do. And when you get into the endgame version, it's like, 4 different packaged fluids, and it's, things, really weird esoteric things up at tier 8. And the thing is, it doesn't give you like 100 up front. It's like 50 up front, the next one's 100, and then there's 150. So it scales up as it goes up. Is that enough balance? I don't know. I'm not a game designer. However, it's an attempt. It's an attempt to try and balance it as the game goes on. Which is one of the reasons why I stick with this particular mod. Because it feels like it's doing a little something to, balance it out. Make it reasonable. What was I working with? All right. Ask Cat, Mouth. Cat can tell you. I forget what I'm doing half the time. ADD! Yay! You. I didn't get any more logs. I'm out of fuel logs. I keep coming back to this tree 3 or 4 times now, and I still didn't grab the thing I needed. When I say neurodivergent, I mean it. Now it has fuel. Okay. I'm going to remove this tree. that was the wrong tree. Oops. Oh well. Okay. Now, the power's in the way. Great. Okay, fine. That's going to bring that entire production line to a screeching halt. It didn't. Oh, because I secured it on the other side. Okay. I need more plates. How's the bus, cat? Okay, let's see. 2x7. That looks good. That's infinite zoop at work. The miner is red. Why is the miner red? It has no power, but it's still... It must have just had a huge backlog. How long has that been without power? I don't even know. Whatever, moving on. I don't have enough rips, do I? I missed the blueprinter. Yay, tier 1. Looked away too soon. I don't even know why I'm building this right now. I don't need it yet. No, that's wrong. I can't even make it yet. I'm getting so far ahead of myself. Those things are almost out. I'm rebuilding you next. Gonna put you up on foundations. I'm gonna make you neat and tidy. And boy, only am I glad I have the expanded inventory right now. One stray belt. There's always one stray belt. I'm thinking... about there? Zoopin' time. Let's go about 3x7, I'm thinking. Yeah, 3x8 will do. Zoop. Okay. Okay, so here's the bin. Line it up with the back. Nudge mode is your friend. Now this is going to start looking familiar to Cat. Cause I built it in the same way. Just gonna eyeball it. Un. Deux. Trois. I think I'm going to keep streaming for about 15 to 20 more minutes. Because I want to have a little time to... my dinner's getting cold. Before we start doing stuff with Sam tonight. Sam's been really looking forward to finishing Dawn Trail. Okay. Cause I built it in the same way. Cause it's efficient. There we go. Voila. Alright. Gonna do this properly. Perfect right-hand turn. Using nudge mode. Box of input from this side, and now the other side. Okay. I'm not sure what it is, but with Satisfactory modded, look at the shadow. The Pioneer shadow is all broken. The head is missing, and your arms are sort of just up on these stilts. I don't know why this happens. It's something to do with the mods. I ran out of rips. Cat, remind me to finish dinner. Okay. Gonna line this up properly. Perfect right hand corners. Which one power poles? There we go. Not funny. There we go. Now I've set it up properly. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, I made this a little longer than I needed, but that's okay. Gonna line you up properly. Welcome home, cat. That line is perfect. It makes me want to just do a straight line right across, but I know it's going to clip right through the constructors. So I can't do that. So something I'm going to do on this playthrough is I'm going to try not to clip through things. To be fair, I generally do that anyway. Ominous sounds of electrical misfortune. I think they probably run out of fuel, honestly. Yeah, that line. Boop. Yeah. They all empty. I'm gonna have to go around and collect more sticks and leaves. F it. Here, have those. The big thing there is that it is now actually making biofuel logs, which as soon as I have enough, I'm going to start sticking them in the burners. All right. Progression. That actually feels like a good stopping, honestly. We've got things started. We can pick this back up on Tuesday. Let me check something. Okay. So here's the deal. I'm going to keep going on this on Tuesday, which is, you know, going to have several, like, scheduled days for doing this. The idea being to try and, you know, finish this playthrough before September 10th, because then everything is going to get restarted. I think I'm going to go have y'all see a good friend, Yuko EX, who's currently online. Let's do a save. Yes, those are all my other save games. Yeah, that's a lot. I know. I may have put a couple hours in this game. We are saved. All right. All right. Everybody, self-care, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Have fun.